Alright, now we're going to create an annual report in order to consolidate and solidify everything that we learned in the past videos of the course. So the very first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to change the background color, and I'm going to select a blue, which is probably going to be towards a tone around these lines. And the main theme over here is going to be crypto. So we're going to create this annual report around this topic. So let's go ahead and let's add a heading, which is going to be annual report. And let's make it a little bit smaller. We're going to duplicate, or actually let's add a subheadline below. It's going to be company XYZ. Let's write by company XYZ. Let's center it, and let's make it just a little bit smaller. And what we're gonna do next is we're actually going to add a line element. So let's type in line. And we're going to find a few of these line elements, and probably we're going to go with this dotted line, since I think it looks pretty cool. And we can add either the line at this basically level, so that it covers the by company XYZ. Let's select only by company XYZ, and let's use Command B, or simply click on bold in order to make it bolder. All right, let's slightly adjust this element. And now what we're gonna do is we're going to go back into the text, and let's see if we can find anything related to paragraph text. And as you can see, we're going to basically see the different elements. So we want something slightly different for the body. So let's actually go ahead over here. And I'm going to go on a website called lipsum.com. And this website enables you to find lorem ipsum text, which is placeholder text, which you can use for pretty much any type of project. So I'm going to select the very first one. And if you scroll down, you can see a bunch of other variations and text that you can use for your projects. So before copying and pasting it, I'm going to make this text smaller, so I don't want to take a whole bunch of space. And I'm going to copy and paste it inside of it. All right, so we have our text. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Let's decrease the size even more. Since it's an annual report, we have a lot of data to fit, and let's go ahead and maybe try and think about a different background. Let's write crypto, and let's see. Okay, we couldn't find anything in this case, but if we go under the elements and we write crypto, we can totally find some interesting ideas and elements that we can use. So for example, we can add an image right here, or we can even just make it cover the entire width and give it a lower opacity. That's totally up to you, something that we can consider doing if you want to maintain the theme. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use Command Z. We're going to simply make this smaller, and we're probably just going to keep it here for now, and then let's see as the project evolves how this is going to play out. And let's add also some other elements so we can kind of like keep them in mind if you wish, as we are developing this project. So sometimes you just want to have some inspiration and some elements in order to have a visual reference for generating new ideas. So at this point, what we're gonna do is we're going to go under the charts, and we want to add some sort of a chart. So maybe let's add this pie chart right here. And we're going to also add another type of chart, which is going to be a graph chart. So pretty standard when it comes to annual reports. And now what we're going to do is we're going to basically have these two charts right here. I'm going to remove this image because I don't really feel the need for keeping it right in this project. And I'm actually going to make this icon smaller. I'm going to duplicate using Shift and the Option key. I'm going to write a website. We can always use Command plus in order to zoom in and see even better what we're doing. Now let's bring this one here. Let's make it bold, and let's resize this. And probably what we're going to do is we're going to bring it here, even below. And we're going to add another line item in order to create a division between these elements. And we're going to go with a different line item. So let's go over here. Let's bring this one down. And here we go. All right. Now, another thing that we can consider is to make the line weight just a little bit smaller. So we're going to go with 2. Or actually, let's try 3. Actually, because it changed the width afterwards. And we can also change the endings. So if we want to go with something a little bit more fancy, probably consider one of these endings. And here we go. All right, now if I go under the data and I duplicate this, or actually I select this, you can see that I can also change the general color palette of these graphs. So this is something which is really useful, and that can enable us to create some interesting color combinations. So this is actually really interesting, especially if you're using this this custom moment where, or actually option where you're selecting the different color styles. So you can create a different color variations for these graphs. And in this case, for example, I can change them individually. So let's just go ahead, and I'm probably going to keep this of this color right here. And again, if you want to change the data inside of it, so see that we want the item 1 to go all the way up, I can actually enter a bigger value, and I can make it, for example, 30. This one's going to be 10. So you can see that series 1 is this lower graph element right here, series 2 is this one here, and series 3 is this one on the top. And when it comes to the pie chart, we have 10 equal items, and if for example I make this one 20, you can see that how item 1 is changing its ratio. So you can literally add and create a structure that as you prefer. So let's go over here and let's create a location. So I'm going to write New York, USA. Probably you can add some contact information and things around those lines. And now what we're gonna do is we're actually going to go ahead and add some more data. So we're going to use the bullet point, and we're going to write value 1. Then I'm going to copy and paste some lorem ipsum text in order to give us the value, and we're going to make it left aligned. We're going to make value 1 in bold, and here we go. So let's duplicate this 2 times. So we're going to have these 2 values. Let's thing we can consider doing is stretching all the way. And here we now have these two values, and let's duplicate using Shift plus the Option key the line below. So we have this nice and ordered layout. All right, so we have our annual report. One thing that I would probably want to change is to just remove a little bit of a text here, not to make it too cramped, and yeah, that will definitely do. Can make these just a little bit bigger and update them as you go. And as you're creating more pages, one thing that I recommend you to consider is to creating duplicates of the current page. So you can easily do that using the duplicate tool. So for example, if you need to keep the headlines and subheadlines, maybe some text and the section below as it is, you can definitely do it in a very fast and efficient way.